2014, what my friend Manu quotes is, it's a different exam. That is what they have very clearly said, that for non-technical examinations, the other languages are allowed. The Article 343 of the Constitution is definitely this is against the Article 343 of the Constitution, and also we have to understand that the Official Languages Act of 1963, it will definitely be a contrary to this issue. But anyway, see, as far as we are concerned, I think it is the BJP in the last 8 years, it is the Bharatiya Janata Party's government only has done, as allowed so many examinations. We have allowed the regional language, we have given concession. So we need to understand the fact of the
He's
matter
saying
is,
why not hold the
DMK
CGL also in all regional languages? Will the government look at that?
That's what I'm saying. If there are chances, if it is possible, but this DMK has got no right. They have got no right to talk about this, because what were these people doing in the 15 years from 1999 to 2014? They were part of the central government. You show me at least one request during the 15 years that DMK had asked for. No. So now these people are trying to create a controversy using the language issue, whereas definitely the law is against these things. And if
Okay, Suman Raman, in that case, given the facts of history, in that case, is it just one more convenient question to ask today of the central government, because the DMK wants to, of course, continue to project that the center is imposing Hindi on Tamilians?
No, center is imposing.
Shivani, I'm not. Sir, my question for me. Shivani, look, I'm not looking at it as a DMK BJP issue. I'm looking at it from the point of view of candidates who may want to appear for these exams. And I think that it is only fair that these exams are conducted in the regional languages. Now we can go and argue what did the DMK do for 15 years, or why it was not held in regional languages earlier. But the point is, if there is something which is identified to be something which is unfair on candidates in different parts of the country, I think that it's better late than never that the central government takes it up and makes it. One more point, Shivani. This is not the only exam. There are at least 4 or 5 other such cases which have been highlighted over the last 2 to 3 years. There was a railway exam. There was a promotion exam, I think, in the Post and Telegraph department. Then there was a recruitment exam for local postmen to serve in rural parts of Tamil Nadu. So there are these kind of exams which are all being asked for to be written in Hindi and English, which clearly makes very little sense.
Very little sense.
And yes, if it was not being done earlier, too bad. From now on, why cannot the center
I get your
be
point,
more
Suman Raman. Of course, if this needs to be revisited, fair enough. But the reason, the way that this is projected, that the central government is imposing singularity, they want one language across the country. You and I have, been part of many such debates.
Shivani,
that charge does not stick. That charge does not stick. If this was already happening for 50 years.
It sticks.
Okay.
The fact that the previous central government also had an ostrich-like attitude to this whole thing and does not necessarily absolve this central government. Mr. Amit Shah consistently speaks about wanting to, get people from different parts of the country to speak Hindi. And, he talks about the glory of Hindi as a link language.
But this Hindi imposition bogey has been raised more vociferously only recently. Why not earlier when the Congress was in power? That's the question I ask. Manu, please respond to that.
They were alliance partners.
Exactly. So it's convenient politics. Manu and then Mr. Tirupati.
No, it's not. It's not. Shivani, please understand a very simple logic which the BJP has exposed itself to today. If the BJP says that the DMK and Congress during their time in the UPA government did not do something, what was the BJP doing during those 9 years when in opposition? Were they keeping quiet even when in opposition? Now, at least when they are in government, we are asking them to do something, firstly. Secondly, this is not a DMK issue, it's not a Congress issue. Please understand, please do not put it into the Tamil versus Hindi or any other language Hindi. We are asking for equal treatment of all languages, and as Dr. Sumant Raman says, all languages in the 22 languages in the 8th schedule. So we're not asking for one language over the other. And Hindi is also part of the 8th schedule.
Okay.
And thirdly, as you rightly said, if not until now, please do not make a discrimination between technical, non-technical, CRPF versus junior engineer and all of that. All people can aspire to do what they want. There is a basic dignity in all employment.
Okay,
So
I have 30 seconds left. Mr. Tirupati, please respond. 30 seconds, please.
A fair multilinguistic equality approach.
I am asking only one thing. See, it is the BJP government that has allowed all the languages, regional languages, in so many examinations pointed out by Suman C. Raman. See, whether it is postal, railway, or even NEET for that matter, everything. But we are only asking, how can you accuse BJP that it is trying to, impose Hindi in this? No, from 1975, you people have done that. You are part of the government for 15 years and you are saying that BJP is imposing.
Okay.
It is not so. So you are using language for politics.
Is language being used for politics? We'll leave it at that. I've run out of time. I think all sides have made their point. Is language consistently used for politics? That's the big debate out of this, and it seems it's only continuing. Thanks a lot for watching. My colleague Anand is joining you next.
It gives me great pleasure to be able to speak with a person who has been at the forefront of putting forward his thoughts very, very candidly, measured in his approach. He's editor Thuglak. He is co-convener of the Swadeshi Jagran Manch. He's an RSS ideologue, but a thinker and of course someone whose heart beats for Bharat. As Gurumurthy sir, namaskaram. Thank you for joining us on this very candid conversation.
Thank you so much. Only one modification. I am no ideologue of RSS. RSS has not appointed me as an ideologue. It is media that has. Now
all right.
You go ahead.
So that objection noted, but let me first ask you this. Were the Cholas Hindus or not? That's the latest conversation that is happening about Hindu Itihasa. So let's start from there, Gurumurthy sir.
Sir, I feel, in fact, I felt it is, it's a pity that such a discourse is taking place. And I would not like to get involved unless there are some very substantial people talking about it. Rabble-rousers and people who want to catch a day's headlines, I don't want to get involved with them.
You are putting Kamala Hassan in the rabble-rouser and want to capture the day's headline bracket now?
Obviously, because he is in politics. Most politicians have a tendency to do that.
But this tendency seems, do you not believe it's on the rise? Hindu bashing and as you would to say as Hindu messiah, that means a certain underlying hate for anything that has got to do with Hinduism.
See, there is a historical background to this. For example, there is a complete alignment between India and Hinduism. This is being denied in the contemporary politics. But I will tell you how Mahatma Gandhi viewed it. In 1909, when he wrote the Hind Swaraj, he defined India's unity, integrity, and the relationship between people only in terms of the Char Dhams and the different places of worship, and in terms of Ganga, which united the people of India in a manner in which no two Englishmen are united. This is what Mahatma Gandhi said. And this book was banned till 1938, and Mahatma Gandhi refused to change his views. Even in 1940, he said, I don't want to change a comma or full stop in this. So the definition of India that Mahatma Gandhi had in mind, when he was asked a question, how do you say India is one country? It is only the post office and railway stations which have brought India together. To which Mahatma Gandhi replies that India was one. Even without any of these things, people were traveling in millions from one place of worship to the other. And this was fundamental to Mahatma Gandhi's thinking. Second, in 1935, Jawaharlal Nehru wrote the glimpses of world history, and in page 842, if I remember right, he wrote that there is very little thin difference between Hinduism and India and Hindu nationalism and Indian nationalism. And Swami Vivekananda's concept of Hindu nationalism was not against anyone, and Jawaharlal Nehru accepted it. This was the discourse at that time. Even a communist like Rajani Palme Dutt, who wrote the India Today, a book titled India Today in 1939, he said that if there had been no English education, English people had been there, we would have got the same spirit from the isolated Veda Padashalas and from our Vedas and Upanishads. This was the debate. But all this changed when Jinnah passed the Muslim communalism. A Prime Minister of India who was a towering personality in and outside India, who was looked upon by crores and crores of Indians. He branded Hinduism as a sectarian idea, whereas till
around the 50s and the 60s, and it continues, and it seems to be so distorted that from political platforms today Hinduism is bashed.
There is another, you see, Hinduism was always bashed. When was it not bashed? The only thing is the bashing has become news today because there is a Hindu viewpoint which is becoming increasingly dominant. And it is being opposed not only from within India but also outside India.
Yeah.
And it disturbs the status quo on which the intellectual, educational and media foundations of India have rested for the last 60 years. Many people are becoming intellectually unemployed. So there is a more powerful attack on the Hindu character of India. The Hindu character of India is not theological, it is philosophical.
Yes.
People do need to differentiate between theology and philosophy. So philosophy is something which accepts the other person's viewpoint and says it needs to be considered. Theology says it is only right, the other view is wrong. India had never such a system of thought. We always discussed our differences. We had the Tarka Shastra. We had what is known as the Purva Paksha.
Yes.
The only thing is, before we criticize the other person's viewpoint, we must study the other person's viewpoint and criticize it. And the other person can also do the same thing. Then both of them can agree or disagree. Because of that, India never faced street violence. If you want evidence for it, you look to Professor R.J. Ramal's 30-year research. He was Hawaii University professor. He built a huge website called Power Kills, in which he brought together all the mass killings that have taken place all over the world, in which he said till the 13th century there was no mass killing in India, whereas in the rest of the world for 2500 years the total mass killings ranged between 680 million to 1.2 billion. Why was such a killing not taking place in India? Because we had a philosophical attitude to others' viewpoint. There may have been exceptions here and there, but there was no general rule of regarding the other viewpoint as wrong. In that sense today, the most intolerant ideology is of the liberals. You know one thing? Because of my tikka, it is sufficient for the liberals to call me communal, narrow-minded, bigot. This is one thing is sufficient. No quality is needed because it is the dress, it is the language, it is the company, it is what you hold in your hand, whether it is some fruit juice or whiskey, that decides the discourse today.
But if that is the case, Mr. Gurumurthy sir, then if you are liberal, then they should be open to you wearing a tikka. Why should they cancel you out? Why should there be concerted effort to dismantle global Hindutva? Sir,
they are not liberal. They have an agenda. They have a target. They have an enemy. They have to deny all traditions of India. Otherwise, they are not liberal. Anyone who follows the tradition of India is not liberal. And we have to carry on this debate because the people of India are different. It is the liberals who are being promoted by the establishment. The establishment consisted of course, the government and all the institutions that were being funded by the government and from outside India, and also the media. You know, when we founded the Vivekananda International Foundation in Delhi, you must have heard about it.
Yes, of course.
Mr. Rajiv Doval was the person who built it. He laid the intellectual foundation for it. You know, the first thing that we put in the trust deed is that we will not accept any foreign donation. You know, that is how a nation ceases to think for itself.
Correct.
So there is no India-centric think tank in India. So we wanted to institute an India-centric think tank. When? 60 years after India's freedom. So you can understand the extent to which India had been impoverished of its own alignment with its soul.
Yeah.
So we have to face it. I am not worried about these liberals and these ultra-seculars and these great people who say we need to have a world view. No American has a world view. He has only an American view. Maybe it is some European countries which have lost their way and have begun thinking of some European way. Every country thinks for itself, and on that basis it has a world view. Correct. Only in India, the liberals have a world view which has nothing to do with the Indian view.
So how do we get this Indian view, Gurumurthy sir? Especially at a time where in Tamil Nadu there is resistance to a Rashtra Bhasha or a link language in Hindi. In Karnataka there is this entire language. You just don't want to be connected, you want to be divided.
Things. You see, I have no, because I have been in Tamil Nadu, I have faced the worst period in Tamil Nadu in 1960s and 70s.
Yes.
The entire Hindu pantheon of gods have been belittled and almost driven away from Tamil Nadu. There used to be hardly 100 people in temples. I have seen that. I have been part of it. Polity and society were completely anti-Hindu. Today, the society has completely changed. You see, India is probably the most Hinduized state in this country. Politics has remained the same because there is no political initiative to align a changed society with the new politics that has to emerge. So it is the inadequacy of politics to align itself with the state, and that is why when DMK ministers are talking against Hinduism, their wives, their mothers, their sisters, their children are all going to temple. They are participating in yajnas openly. So Tamil Nadu has changed. In fact, Tamil Nadu is not the same as it was in 1950s, 60s, 70s. It's over. In fact, the Dravidian ideology is on its last leg. I mean, as a person who has been viewing politics and have played political games at the highest level in India and in Tamil Nadu, I can assure you, Tamil Nadu is, the Dravidian ideology is like a pack of cards.
Yeah.
It is sustaining itself only on lung power.
So you're saying its days are numbered. So who's going to fill that void, and what is the alternative that's going to come?
Completely. You see, I am in politics, what alternative, even they may change. For example, no Dravidian party is Dravidian party today.
Correct.
Except the name, except the label. Like the Congress. The Congress is no more the Congress of the pre-independence days. It's a label. So the qualitative change can come.
The government work actively to free Hindu temples. The HR&C Act is a bane on pushing Hindu traditions, because temple economy or temple was the center of our cultural progress and of course dissemination of Vedic knowledge and ancient knowledge. Do you believe it's high time that the government considers this?
Yes, I entirely agree the government should get out of the temples, and a secular government has no business to manage or own temples or temple funds or decide what should be the essential worship models. But the Hindu mind had been for a long time thinking government owns the temples. So it also needs a preparation to manage, to enable the Hindu society to manage the temples. I think it will be a calibrated process by which it will happen. 5 to 10 years should be the target by which it has to be done.
The next question is on PFI. It believes it's the Muslim RSS. So if they should be banned for what they have been doing, the RSS should also be banned.
You see, this is a very ridiculous issue. The PFI was founded by the people who left Simi, and the people who formed Simi were the people who left ISS, that is Islamic Sevak Sangh. And all these have a train of terror actions. So their idea is not to work for just Muslims. I mean, there are organizations which are working for Muslims. But their idea is to break India. But the RSS was founded by a patriot. He went to jail. He was part of the Congress. And he made RSS an apolitical organization, and he himself resigned as the president of RSS to participate in the freedom movement.
Yes.
He kept the RSS out because he addressed the question, what would happen to India after we got freedom? Because when we lost freedom, it was because of our lack of unity. So he wanted to create Hindu unity as the backbone of India. These two are two different paradigms.
Very well explained, Gurumurthy sir. My final question, is there an India view which needs to be told to the world? Is Mr. Subramaniam Jayashankar in the right direction? And how do we develop this India view?
The India view is of 2 or 3 packages. One is the cultural, spiritual and traditional view of India, which has mesmerized and surprised the world as to how this country, which has the largest diversity, if you put it on the one side, even as compared to the world, is remaining united. And this has always remained united. This is the soul of India. Unless you recognize the soul of India, you cannot develop an Indian view. On this, that we have a duty to tell the world that you cannot have divisive thoughts, say only your religion is right, or only your thought is right, or only your language is right. This kind of thing is exclusive and you are making it universal. This is wrong. To tell this Indian view is needed abroad. And to align the two, we have to fight with people who think that there is no Indian view in India. All views are only imported from outside. So there are 3 dimensions to the Indian view. One is the homegrown thought from Mahatma Gandhi to Savarkar, to Aurobindo, to Vivekananda, to Rajni Palme Dutt and Jawaharlal Nehru. All of them agree on the Hindu character of India. They may not agree on the Hindu character of politics. That's a different thing. So I think we have a long way to go to get out of the past mess created by politics.
Very well said, Gurumurthy sir. Time is of essence, or paucity this time, but you have now compelled me to make that air dash to Chennai and get you to sit with me in person so that we can have a longer conversation. I really look forward to that. Always a pleasure. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is the first time I am talking to you. I feel very happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Namaskara.
So this is what Enforcement Directorate has to say. Back to you.
Stay with us. Siddhant, we're also joined by our senior political editor Pallavi Ghosh for more on this. Very good morning to you, Pallavi. Now, today is an important day in the Bharat Jodo Yatra in the state of Karnataka because it is at the Mutt, which is very important to the Vokkaliga community, which DKS hails from. The Congress looking to woo that community in a big way. But Pallavi, by now the Congress must be used to taking these questionings in their stride, and they've responded saying it is vengeance which has prompted these cases, and especially today's questioning against them.
There are two ways of looking at it, and there are going to be two angles to it. Certainly, the Congress party is going to call it a case of political witch hunt. I remember DK Shivkumar had made that request to the ED that since he's, in a sense, organizing the Karnataka leg because he's a state Congress in charge of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, he should be excused this time round. That permission was not given, and that's again a point which he made, that this is a clear-cut case of political witch hunt and yet again a misuse of the CBI and the ED. So how is the Congress going to use it to their advantage when they're going to make the point that, look, they are scared of the Yatra and the traction it's been getting on the ground, and therefore they do not want DK Shivkumar to be there. But the BJP's counter-argument to it is that you are taking pot shots at us, calling us a 40% commission ki sarkar. You're trying to provide what you call and claim is a clean alternative to the BJP in Karnataka. But look, your state Congress chief and one of the contenders for the top post, if the Congress party comes to power in Karnataka, is himself under the scanner. He is corrupt. Therefore, what kind of an alternative are you projecting? So I think staying away from Delhi, if you look at the politics in Karnataka, that's going to be the game which is going to be played out by the BJP and also by the Congress.
That's a very important perspective coming in there from Pallavi. Pallavi, stay with us. Let's also go across to Ritu, who joins us live from Karnataka. Ritu, what is the schedule for the Yatra today? And also take us through the recent raids that DKS was subjected to just a few days ago. And he also made a statement saying he doesn't know why he's been summoned today.
Well, exactly what we know is that DK Shivkumar has already left from Bangalore, and today he is going to appear in front of the ED right after the ED had summoned him. But of course, DK Shivkumar has questioned the timing and how the central agencies are being used from the BJP party to harass the Congress leaders. But however, what the Congress leaders have to say is that no matter what the central agencies decide to do against the Congress leaders and the BJP party who is trying to manipulate the agencies, the Congress leaders aren't scared of it. They all stand unitedly and strongly with the DK Shivkumar and Suresh as well, and the other leaders as well who have been harassed by the ED and CBI and the other agencies. So they say that since they have the respect for the law and order, the DK Shivkumar will appear in front of the ED to show that example and also set an example that the Congress leaders aren't scared of what the agencies have to decide. But however, we have seen the series of attacks that have been happened on DK Shivkumar, the raids that took place in the earlier, and therein how the CBI also visited his multiple locations and carried an inspection, checked all his documents too. So with that all, the DK Shivkumar is saying that somewhere this is panicking the BJP party, the Bharat Jodo Yatra's success, but they say that this success will continue for all the days till the Bharat Jodo Yatra gets over here in the Karnataka, and in the upcoming assembly elections as well. It is the Congress party who will be able to make its mark and come back in the power, and then show the BJP party how things have to be panned out in a political manner.
As Rahul Gandhi leads Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra to Karnataka, the Enforcement Directorate has summoned Karnataka Congress Chief DK Shivkumar to appear before them in Delhi today. This in connection with the National Herald case. The ED had rejected Shivkumar's request to extend the date of his appearance, citing the responsibilities he has during the ongoing Yatra. Remember, the case relates to alleged financial irregularities committed by the Young Indian Limited while taking over the assets of the National Herald. The IT department during the initial probe had allegedly found unaccounted for and misreported wealth linked to the Congress leader.
He has summoned DK Shivkumar. They have asked him to appear before them. So how will he take up? How is Congress party planning about it? Because he's saying that he'll be consulting the Congress party leaders and then taking decision.
They have filed the case with vengeance. Why they are not filing either income tax or not raiding on any of the BJP people? You mean to say there are no rich people in BJP? You mean to say that the people who have amassed wealth disproportionate to their known wealth? Why they are not filing case against any BJP man? Huh? Why they are choosing only Shiv Kumar and Congress people? That shows it's a vengeance politics.
They can summon Mr. D.K. Shivkumar and Mr. D.K. Suresh 500 times more. They are only trying to block our yatra. Neither is D.K. Shivkumar scared, nor is D.K. Suresh scared, nor is Mr. Siddharamaiah scared, nor is Mr. B.K. Hariprasad scared, nor are lakhs and lakhs of Congress workers scared. We will give them a befitting reply in the court of the people. And we reject such malicious, vicious attempts that BJP is undertaking only because they are panic stricken and they are scared of the overwhelming response of the common people to the yatra.
While the Bharat Jodo Yatra continues in Karnataka, and today is a very important day because it's going to be happening at a mutt which is important for the Vokkaliga community. That's a community that D.K. Shivkumar also hails from, and that's a community that Congress is looking to woo. It's a very important day for the Bharat Jodo Yatra, and DKS is in charge of it. But he's been called to Delhi, and in fact my colleague Siddhant Mishra joined us from the location where he will be questioned at. Siddhant, at what time is he expected to reach there, and what do we expect the line of questioning to be today? Take us through it.
Well, look, this is not for the first time that D.K. Shivkumar has been summoned by Enforcement Directorate. In fact, he was placed under arrest in 2019, and later he was behind the bars for a couple of months in a money laundering case. So this is perhaps the second time that D.K. Shivkumar has been summoned. This time around, his brother D.K. Suresh has also been summoned by Enforcement Directorate. Right now, we are at Kaveri apartment. We are being told that D.K. Shivkumar is staying here, and at around 10:30 he is likely to come out, and he will go to Enforcement Directorate's office in the national capital, and at around 11 we have been told that questioning with D.K. Shivkumar will begin. Now this questioning is happening at a time when D.K. Shivkumar is the chairman of Congress party committee in Karnataka, and Bharat Jodo Yatra is passing through Karnataka. So he's loaded with lot of party related works. He's loaded with lot of responsibility related to Bharat Jodo Yatra. The yatra is passing through Karnataka state, and he has been questioned by Enforcement Directorate, and this is perhaps the reason that he is making this allegation on BJP that they are rattled. They're not liking the success of Bharat Jodo Yatra, and this is the reason that they have summoned me and my brother to disturb the yatra. Everyone knows that I belong to Karnataka. I am the chief of the party in Karnataka, and it is very important for me to be there at the time of yatra. But since I have been summoned, it is only because BJP is rattled and they're not liking the success of the yatra. So this is what D.K. Shivkumar has to say. But Enforcement Directorate has to say that there were certain dealings which D.K. Shivkumar and D.K. Suresh had with Young Indian National Herald. There were some donations which were made by them, and to corroborate that evidence, they have been summoned. They have been called by Enforcement Directorate today. Now this is a long going investigation in National Herald Young Indian case. Mallikarjun Kharge, Pawan Bansal, Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, they all have been summoned. Their statements have been recorded. Today is D.K. Shivkumar and his brother's turn. They will be questioned related to the transactions that were made by them to Young Indian. There was some amount which was transferred, and they are going to be questioned regarding that. So this is what Enforcement Directorate has to say. Back to you.
Stay with us. Siddhant, we're also joined by our senior political editor, Pallavi Ghosh, for more on this. Very good morning to you, Pallavi. Now, today is an important day in the Bharat Jodo Yatra in the state of Karnataka because it is at the mutt, which is very important to the Vokkaliga community, which DKS hails from. The Congress looking to woo that community in a big way. But Pallavi, by now the Congress must be used to taking these questionings in their stride, and they've responded saying it is vengeance which has prompted these cases, and especially today's questioning against them.
There are two ways of looking at it, and there are going to be two angles to it. Certainly, the Congress party is going to call it a case of political witch hunt. I remember DK Shivkumar had made that request to the ED that since he's, in a sense, organizing the Karnataka leg because he's a state Congress in charge of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, he should be excused this time round. That permission was not given, and that's again a point which he made.
चोल साम्राज्य के लिए उठा सकता मैं चोल राज्य का सैनिक हूं चोल प्रजा का सेवक
இந்து மதங்கிற பேர் ராஜராஜ சோழன் காலத்துல கிடையாது. அப்படி வைணவம்னு இருந்தது, சைவம்னு இருந்தது, சமணம்னு இருந்ததே தவிர அது வெள்ளக்காரங்க நமக்கு வச்ச பேர்.
There is a lot of difference between Vaishnavism and Saivism. Both are two different religions. Subsequently, they were subsumed into one religion. So at that time of Rajaraja Chola, there is a clear-cut difference. That is history.
If Vetrimaran or Kamal Haasan or Thirumavalavan says that Rajaraja Cholan is not a Hindu, I can only pity them.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Were the Cholas Hindu or not? Is this another attempt at Hindu bashing, or it's just understanding the concept a little differently? Now in Sanskrit, and of course this is our philosophy, just like we had Mr. S. Gurumurthy there saying that the Indian way of life and Hinduism in India has to be seen as a philosophy and not a theology. So the moment you look at Hinduism or Hinduness or Hindutva as a way of life, one that unites us all in the simple principle that we believe in Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuta Vidanti. That means there is just one truth, there is one ultimate supreme being, but there are different ways to approach that truth or that supreme or that divinity. Then automatically all these streams become individual roots, but they are all with the same ethos. The ethos that the body is mortal, but the soul is perennial and lives on eternal. So this entire concept of Punarjanma, be it Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shakya or any other panth or any other form of worship or belief, unites us all. If you are looking at Hinduism as a way of life, then yes, all of these form part of this way of life. Is Hinduism a religion or a way of life? Because Mr. Kamal Haasan said, that means it's the whites who branded us as Hindus. The Goras came here and branded us as Hindus. We were not Hindus. We were Shaivites, we were Vaishnavas, we were different forms. That's what Mr. Kamal Haasan said. But where he erred is he called Hinduism as a religion. Is Hinduism a religion today, or is it still a way of life? Now, if it is a way of life, then who were the Cholas? The Cholas were Shaivites. This is what is chronicled even in the Sangam literature. Let's try and understand this aspect, ladies and gentlemen. Who were the Cholas? So the Cholas were Shaivites. The Cholas, underscoring, they were practitioners of Hinduism. This is what, as per the literature of Sangam period, very clearly tells. Because they were Shaivites. Raja Chola constructed the largest Shiva temple, the Brihadishwara temple, in 1013. Queen Sembian, Mahadevi, initiated the building of temples. Image of Parvati, a stylized portrait of Queen Sembian. Shivanatraja made iconic religious and political symbol during the Chola period. So what do Supreme Court and the courts turn around and say about what the likes of Vetrimaran and of course Kamal Haasan have turned around and said that there was no Hinduism at that time. Believers of Shaiva form of worship are not a denominational sect of or section of Hindus, but they are Hindus as such. This is what the courts have said. Three-judge bench of the court has turned around and said. But they are Hindus as such. They are entitled to the protection under Article 25 and 26 of the Constitution. However, they are not entitled to the protection in particular of clauses B and D of Article 26 as a religious denomination in the matter of management, administration and governance of the temples under the Act The Act, therefore, is not ultra vires, Article 25 and 26 of the Constitution. So they are Hindus per se, but they are not a separate denomination. So in the present day and age, Hinduism, the courts have defined it as a way of life. Hindutva is Hinduness, that ultimate feeling that unites all, because that's central, that philosophy is central to Bharat. So were the Cholas not Hindus, is the question that we ask. And is there an attempt to distort history or to confound people by using terminologies which could perhaps spur the debate or push a particular political agenda? Were they talking facts and did they just deviate a little bit? Let's try and understand this. Khushbu Sundar, actress and BJP leader with us. T.R. Ramesh, advocate and historian. And Dushyant Sridhar, Vedic scholar with us. My namaskarams to everybody and festive greetings. It's a festive season. And this is a time when perhaps across the world we see people returning to tradition, people returning to ways of the old religion and understanding our concepts. And we internally in our own country are tending to do that. But let me ask you, Dushyant Sridhar, would you want to get into the argument of Hinduism and who defined this entire grouping called Hindus? Shaivism, Vaishnavism, different facts. So then is Mr. Kamal Haasan right or wrong? Vellakaranga Hindu pernu vechanga. There were Saivites, there were Vaishnavites, each person was different is what he said.
Namaskaram Anand and namaskaram to my fellow panelists. This is the zillionth debate that I'm participating on this topic, which is an open shut case. Nevertheless, the first retort that I would like to give is people who are questioning, be it the film director or the actor, they have proclaimed themselves to be atheists. So largely people who do not conform to any religious principles. In that case, for them it shouldn't matter when there is a debate whether it's Shaivism, Vaishnavism or all of this fits under one umbrella. I don't know what is the role of Sri Tirumavalavan and Sri Kamala Haasan with respect to this debate. Nevertheless, let's keep that aside. Let's have a very intellectual debate from which I think the people who have issued such statements will run away. Let's assume for a minute the prima facie, which is the Purva Paksham, that these kings should not be treated as Hindu kings, but they should be called a Shaiva king or a Vaishnava king. Now, let's go, if they talk about Vaishnava kings, Vaishnavism in the Tamil literature follows the works of the Alvars called the Nalayira Divya Prabandham. Nammalvar, of course, who's hailed as the Alvar who gave us the Tamil Vedam called Thiruvaimozhi, he says in one of his works, Irukkar Mozhiyil, he mentions about Irukkar. Irukkar is Rig Vedam. And his work called Thiruvaimozhi is called Rishim Jushamahe Krishna Trishna Tattva Mivothitam Sahasra Shakham Yodrakshim Dravidim Brahma Samhitam. His 1000 verses of Thiruvaimozhi in Tamil is regarded as the essence of Samavedam. So all these Alvars whom they say they were all Tamil saints who followed Vaishnavism, they all celebrate Vedam. So these people, Kamala Haasan and Vetrimaran and the others who say that they should be recognized as a Shaiva king or a Rajaraja Chola, it is completely against what they are proclaiming. Let's take for a moment.
If you are here in Bharatam, then you, irrespective of what way you follow, you are Hindu. That means you do not look at Hinduism as a way of life. So they get confused in their own argument or caught in their own argument.
No, it's unfortunate that some, get caught in these kind of arguments because they think that their way of thinking is way ahead of anybody else. Now, when you look at Hinduism, the Hindu Shastra says where Hinduism comes from. You can say that the word Hinduism was coined by the Britishers, but when you look into the history, every time there's an argument about Hinduism or Hindutva, Manusmriti has been brought in. If you do not agree that Raja Choran who was 1200 years back an emperor, you'd say that he was not a Hindu, but then but Manusmriti is technically part of Hinduism and Hindutva, then that was 3000 years ago. So if you accept Manusmriti, then you have to accept Raja Choran as a Hindu king, which they defied themselves. They actually go back on their own words, and they do not understand that, Hinduism, Hindutva or Shaivites or Vaishnavites, whatever you call them, that has been a way of life on India. Talk about Christianity. Christianity is It came 200 years after the death of Jesus Christ. But do you say that? I mean, you have so many. You have PSI, you have Protestants, you have Roman Catholics, you have so many people. But do they not all come under Christianity? Or when you talk about Muslims, you have Shias, you have Sunnis, you have Sufis. Does not everything else come under one umbrella, and that is called being Muslims? Why is it only when it comes to Hindu, they are not ready to accept that everything else comes under one umbrella, and that is about the way of life, Hinduism? That's why they are not ready to agree. They do not agree on that basis. What I don't understand. It's an independent country. It's a very.
No, somewhere, Khushbuji, is that also because the other two that you talked about, the Abrahamical religions, are aligned on theology, whereas Hinduism as a way of life or Hindutva is a philosophy. So what happens? Yeah. So that's where perhaps the difference comes, that the umbrella of the overall, you may have different sects, but it aligns to one particular book and one particular thought process. In Hinduism, it doesn't align that way. It aligns on a philosophy where you largely believe on Punarjanma. That's what binds us all. We believe that the Atma is immortal, the Atma is perennial, and the Atma is a part of the universal energy or cosmos, which we call in both forms, personal and impersonal.
But that's what we say. The ethos of life is what we are talking about. So if you agree to something else, you have to agree to this. You cannot say that I accept A, but I'm not ready to accept B. But I'm fine with C. That is not the way of life. I mean, it's there for people. They are very well-read people. I have huge respect for Mr. Kamal Hassan, being a very well-read person. But he has been pulled into this controversy unnecessarily because probably he wanted to say something else and something else has been stated. But I would say that people like Vetrimaran or Thirumavalavan or anybody for that matter, if you're talking about history, I think you need to know the entire history. Just because you do not want to accept being known as a Hindu, or you don't want to know that, you just want to push Tamil. Tamil is part of Hinduism. What are we talking about today? Even the Dravidian culture we are talking about, where does it come from? We need to look back. We need to look where you're talking about Rig Veda. Where does it come from? All the inscriptions on the temples we go to, it shows that anywhere you go, all these inscriptions on the wall in the temples, it comes from Hinduism. So why is it? And even the temples which were built by Rajaraja Cholan, the biggest temple for that matter, the Tanjavur Periya Koil.
Yes.
I mean, look at all the transcriptions. He himself called Shivan Padasevagan. He called himself somebody who wanted to be at the feet of Shivan and serve him. So, those kind of humbleness, when you see that, where does Shivan come from? Where does Vishnu come from? Today, it was Rajaraja Cholan who has built temples of Shivan and Vishnu together. So you have so many temples in Tamil Nadu today.
None other than in the Brahma Samhita. The other aspect is that you talked about Manusmriti, which is 3,000 years old, so that's a convenient political argument. But then after that, there is a Parashara Smriti which never is spoken about. So there are a lot of arguments and counter arguments to the word Dravidam. The word Dravidam itself, we heard him mention. Dushyant Sridhar mentioned the word Dravidam. Dravidam is the land that is sandwiched between two seas or two water bodies, two large water bodies. So all of Karnataka, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, all of this now is actually Dravida Nadu. It's not just this entire political narrative of one particular land that is Tamil Nadu, which is this. So this entire Dravidian politics itself is also distorted because Adi Shankaracharya, they introduced himself as somebody who came from Dravida. And that too, he did it in Kashmir. But the meaning was different. T.R. Ramesh, so those who are now trying to convolute, are they pushing a particular political narrative which is steeped in Periyarism?
Well, they have to talk Dravidism because many of the people in the DMK party speak Telugu as the mother tongue. And EVR Ramaswamy Nayakar, who was Periyar, his mother tongue was Kannada. And he said Tamil is a barbaric language. To hide all this, they keep talking about Dravidism and all that, and not really about Tamil or Tamil Nadu. Now, keeping that aside, if Rajaraja was a Saivite, again, Saivism is a sect of the Sanatana Dharma, which is now known as Hinduism. And in Saivism, there are many sects. There is Pasupada, there are Pasupadas, there are Kabalikas, and there are Shiva Brahmanas. There are so many sects there. And Rajaraja practiced Lagulika Pasupada. and for him, the main deity is Sadasivamurthy. He has come with a statuary of Sadasivamurthy in the big temple.
Yes.
So you can go on dividing sects and subsects and so on, but he belongs to Sanatana Dharma, and he followed Manu Dharma Niti because he is a descendant of Manuniti Chola. Now Manuniti Chola ruled the Chola Empire from Thiruvarur, and Mr. Karnanidhi has erected a monument for Manuniti Chola, a great administrator of justice in Thiruvarur. And not only that, the DMK government got a pillar erected in the name of Manuniti Chola in Madras High Court, because that Chola was a great administrator of justice. And Rajaraja is a direct descendant of Manuniti Chola. So he followed, his predecessors followed Manu Dharma and Sanatana Dharma. There is no doubt, there is not even iota of doubt that he is a Hindu first, then a Saivite, and within a Saivite, he was a Pasupada Saivite. And he established the Tanjore temple, the temple which is in my hometown. I grew up watching the Tanjore temple every day. That temple he established under Maguda Agama, one of these 28 Saiva Agamas, and the Agamas came from the Vedas. Tevaram says, Vedanari Taraitongas Nidisaivat Turai Valanga. Periya Puranam says that. The chief minister of the Chola Empire has said this. That means, let the Veda way of life flourish.
And about it. So the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court has already made the term crypto-Christianity, where you would retain your Hindu names, but you've already changed your religion because you want your quotas to prevail. Now there is this matter is sub judice, and former Chief Justice Balakrishnan is now part of the 3-member committee that's been constituted to look into this. So
nevertheless, as of today, if they say we are not Hindus, they lose their parliament seats.
That is true. They will not say that. They want to keep that Hindu name and that overarching, perhaps the frontal Hindu identity, so that they can openly bash Hinduism as being part of within the community, and perhaps then go ahead and say what they want to say, thinking that will get more traction or practice.
Talking about names, the name Rajaraja is one of the 1,000 names of Lord Shiva.
Yes.
Rajaraja is found in the Sahasranama of Lord Shiva.
Yes.
I think it's the 997th name.
Correct.
Rajaraja had a Hindu name and Shiva's name. He did not have a Muslim name like Hassan. So today Hassans can talk about Rajaraja not being a Hindu, but they should say to which religion they belong first. They should declare that.
Well, we are not here to question everybody's religion or what their faith is, but they should be open about what they follow before they start bashing, because they cannot have perhaps a front or a facade and then go ahead and bash. But I'm not going to get in the ways, because he has done his research. When he came, and what he said today, Dushyant Sridhar, came from the fact that we did not have a concept of Hinduism at that time. There were Saivas and Vaishnavas, various sects. These Hindus, he said, Vellakarangat, they put this name. And that is true, because the Portuguese brought in the word casta or caste, and the British in around 1528, that's when they did not know how to classify all those who are neither Christian nor Muslim. So what do you do with all of them? They bunch them up as, or Sikhs, so they bunch them all up as Hindus. So that's what is the explanation is given. That's also subject to correction, but I'm just saying, is that reason enough for them to have this kind of a line what they're taking? Or is it because that's how they're politically oriented and that's how they've been taught?
In most of our works, literature that I'm talking about, the land is referred to as Chodadesham, Pandyadesham, Kupyacholi, Vachanakutilehi, Kuntalehi, Sishtamule, says Vedanta Deshika. It is called the Chodadesham, Pandyadesham, Cheradesham from time immemorial, as and when they ruled. So then we had the state with a new name called as Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu, the land of Tamils, did not exist before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. So I should be called a Pandya or a Chola.
Pandya kingdom. Pandya kingdom was known as Tamil Nadu.
Now,
and subsequently,
now when you talk about the word, when you talk about Tamil Nadu as well, since Ramesh ji is talking, it's called as Alavai. In Kalidasa's work, Raghuvamsham, it is called as Uraganagaram, Alavai. It was called Kudal Managari.
No, the Pandya Nadu is always known as Tamil Nadu.
So what about Cholanadu?
Because that's where the Tamil Sangam
What
was
about
there. That's why
Cholanadu?
it's known as Tamil Nadu. But
What
now
about
the name
Cholanadu?
denotes the entire state of Tamil Nadu, including
Exactly.
the Chola, Pallava.
So that's what. So Tamil Nadu, as we see today, was never existing. It's come to fruition
it's
after.
It's a name that has come now.
Yeah.
Okay. And one more thing, to recognize Rajaraja Chola as only a Shaivite will also be wrong. Though he might have constructed a temple for Shiva, he has given so much of donations for Vishnu temples. In fact, his sister Kundavari has recognized herself to be an Alvar herself. In one of the inscriptions, she says she is so devoted to Vishnu that she calls herself an Alvar. It's the role played by Trisha. Aniruddha Brahmaraya, played by the veteran actor Mohan Ram, he belonged to the place called Anbil. Traditionally in history, he belonged to the Gotra of Harita, from which Ramanuja comes. So all those Anbil plates talk about the lineage of the kings of Ayodhya, and then they talk right from Vishnu to Manu. Now, interestingly, Anand, there is so much of hue and cry about Manu Dharma Shastra in Tamil Nadu. Let's all of us now excuse ourselves and say we don't agree with Manu Dharma Shastram. Let's see what Rajaraja Chola has to say. In one of the inscriptions, he states, Yavat Kailasha Shaile Viharati. As long as the Kailasha exists, as long as the milky ocean of Vishnu exists, me, the one who has come in the lineage about being the day when it's Pradosham, we recite Sri Rudram. So from Sri Rudram, we know Rudra. So I don't know, where are they trying to head us to? They should be heading somewhere, right?
No, it is heading in the direction where they want to separate the whole concept of being a Hindu, Khushbu Sundar, from the various sects or the various different shoots or say branches of Sanatana Pratha. That perhaps is the motive when they say something like that. Would you agree, disagree, Khushbu Sundar?
No, I think it's just that they want to divide. They want to bring in a divide. It's the same BCK leader who's spoken in one of the areas in Tamil Nadu today, where he's saying that the DMK government should have the Hindu endowment in two different sections. You separate the Shaivites and the Vaishnavites, and this is what the talks are today. So they are the ones who have been talking about the divide. Though they say that we are the central, we are the centrist, or we are the leftist, or we are the atheist. We do not believe in Hinduism. We do not follow any religion. But they're the same ones who are talking about the divide. Nowhere in Hindutva, Hinduism, when we talk about anyone for that matter, whether they're Shaivites or Vaishnavites, we don't divide. We say everything comes together, and we say that it's about Hindu, the way of life. And it's easy for people to choose. It's their way of life. They have to choose what they want to do. But the minute you start talking about divide, and let me tell you, my very good friend, Mr. Kamal Hassan, is known as Thenampet Alvar. I mean, he may say that I'm an atheist, but he's known as Thenampet Alvar. So that, what does that make him is what I don't understand. But, you cannot be using a religion, or you cannot be using a way of life for your political gains, whether it is Mr. Tirumavalavan, or whether it is DMK, or Mr. Hassan, or anybody for that matter. You cannot be using that to gain any kind of political minds. You have your ideas, but then if you're trying to distort the history, if you're trying to take things away which actually belongs to the land of India, belongs to the ethos of life of Indians, if you're going to take that away, then that's when the problem starts. I think we need to have a very clear mindset as to where you're going to bring in, whether you want to believe your beliefs or your beliefs, but then you cannot distort what is there as the way of life of probably every Indian. Where
I think what
and where were Christians? I mean, it was known as Hindu Nad. Where does that Hindustan comes from? Where does that when you talk about your river Sindhu to Indu to Hindu, where does it come from? I mean, that's the whole history what we have to read. You cannot
it's like conveniently weaving the narrative to suit a particular, perhaps ulterior political motive, or it is stemming from a certain amount of lack of awareness or ignorance. Somewhere, it's perhaps stuck there. And what we need to do, Mr. T.R. Ramesh, Dushyant Sridhar and Khushbu Sundar, is that to try and spread the awareness and talk about it a little more openly and challenge certain misnomers. T.R. Ramesh, I have run out of time, but I promise that we will do a longer debate and a longer discussion on this matter very, very soon. I have to wind up on that note. I thank you all for joining us on this Friday edition. Making way for Brass Tacks.
Good evening. There is politics bang in the middle of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. DK Shivkumar, the president of the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee, was called for questioning today by the Enforcement Directorate in the National Herald scam. The Congress is alleging that this is nothing but vendetta politics bang in the middle of Bharat Jodo. the BJP is saying, why should there be some kind of an expiry date, if you will, on an investigation? If you are summoned by an investigation agency, isn't it your job? Aren't you duty bound to cooperate with the investigation? But all of that in just a moment. First, the story of what happened today.
Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra is going through Karnataka, but the state Congress president was in the national capital today. KPCC President DK Shivkumar and his brother DK Suresh were quizzed by the Enforcement Directorate in the National Herald case. The investigating agency grilled them for over 5 hours and took the details of the donation of 25 lakhs to Young India Limited.
I am a law-abiding citizen. I will respect the law. Myself, my brother DK Suresh, to respect the Enforcement Directorate and the law. We left our yatra in the middle and we have come.
The Congress party believes that the BJP is trying to harass DK Shivkumar after the Bharat Jodo Yatra received an overwhelming response in Karnataka.
They can summon Mr. DK Shivkumar and Mr. DK Suresh 500 times more. They are only trying to block our yatra, and we reject such malicious, vicious attempts that BJP is undertaking.
Meanwhile, the BJP has found a way to counter the Bharat Jodo Yatra. The state unit of the BJP has promised a statewide yatra from the 11th of October. The yatra will be led by Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai and former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa. It will begin from Raichur district and will go through 50 assembly segments in the next 3 months. As the BJP awaits the nod of the central leadership in Delhi, the Bharat Jodo Yatra has already covered over 100 kilometers in Karnataka. The Yatra now plans to cover another 400 kilometers by October 23rd. So the question we are asking, amid the Yatra, who is actually playing politics?
Now, before we go to our guests, the Congress has been claiming that the investigations and the summons against top Karnataka leaders, including DK Shivkumar, are with an eye to disturb the party during its Bharat Jodo Yatra. Well, here's how things have transpired in the last few weeks. On the 7th of September, earlier last month, Bharat Jodo Yatra begins from Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu. On the 15th of September, DK Shivkumar, the working president of the Karnataka Congress Committee, the Pradesh Congress Committee, he is summoned by the Enforcement Directorate for the 19th of September. This is in a money laundering case. Then, on the 19th of September, he is quizzed by the Enforcement Directorate in Delhi. On the 30th of September, which was just last week, Bharat Jodo Yatra enters Karnataka. 2 days before that, CBI officials survey DK's properties in a disproportionate assets case. On the 2nd of October, Gandhi Jayanti incidentally, the ED summons DK Shivkumar and his brother DK Suresh in the Young India case, in the Young India Limited case, for the 7th of October. And today, the Yatra reaches the Adi Chuncha Nagari Mutt. It is a Vokaliga powerhouse. It is a very